Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast, along with my guest host, Brenden Potts. Before we start the episode, I should have done this in the previous two episodes, but I would like to send my thoughts and prayers um, to the families that were affected about what happened in Tennessee couple days ago. It happened at the uh, convent school. It's a private Presbyterian church in Greens Hill. That's in Nashville, Tennessee. Um, three children, along with three staff members, were killed. Um, this is another example of we need reform. We need to hold our politicians accountable. I thought it was very disturbing that a politician would tell the general public there's nothing we can do to fix this. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, there is a way to fix this. Is you put people like him, vote them out. Put people in these seats that are going to make change. We're not even in April. We're not even 3 months. We're not even halfway at the new year. And there have been more mass shootings. I think we're 85 days, 86, Brenden, and it's very, very frustrating. It's getting to the point where this is at a practically a private school. Covenant is practically a private school, and the fact that now this this is almost as like this is normal, and this is not normal. And we really need to start holding our politicians accountable because um, it's it's just sad to see young ones that could have been a future doctor, that could have been a lawyer, that could have been an engineer, and the staff, you know, innocent people, their lives are being taken for what? And what do you tell these families that have been affected with school shootings? We saw in Uvalde, Texas. We're seeing it all over. And we've really got to start holding these politicians accountable. Ladies and gentlemen, it is your civic duty to vote. Get out here and vote. Make sure you're registered to vote. It's not just on the national, it's on the local, state government. It's all branches of government. Let's get out here and vote. And let's make change. Enough is enough. Brenden, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously, thoughts and prayers to everybody who's affected. But when I look at this type of thing, I like to think of quality over quantity. And obviously, we had three staff members and three children who were shot and killed. And that's when I look at those or any numbers in this type of situation. I'd like to think that's three mothers or three fathers that you have to go door to
Mm-hmm.
door and tell them their child isn't coming home from school. And that's three husbands or three wives that you have to tell that their spouse is not coming home. And it really puts things into perspective when you see the quality of the stats in an article or in a news release. Um, this is a small example, but not to be minimized by any tragedy like this. So I resonate with your thoughts. Please go out and vote, and your vote matters, even if you think it doesn't. And this is just a tragedy. And thoughts and prayers to everybody affected.
I agree. And again, enough's enough. I mean, let's let's really make some change, ladies and gentlemen. And again, I believe that they're being laid to rest tomorrow. Just continue to keep them in your prayers. And those have been affected. But more importantly, let's get out here and make some change because I'm tired. I'm just tired of all of this nonsense. And it really also puts in the perspective, just continue to hug your loved ones a little tighter, tell how much you love them. Um, and I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to get into the episode. Um, let's get to work.
You are now tuned into the sounds of Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime. You are now tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that's on all the time, anytime. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for all content. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Nathan Snell. Bring your sports game with Big Nate Sports Talk.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony Handy, for that lovely introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. This is season 14, episode 13 of the podcast. And in this episode, it is down to 4, the final 4 for March Madness women's basketball. Before we get into it, there's a few things I would like to say up front. As you see, we are actually rebranding Big Nate Sports Talk. There's some things you will see different and about the next week or so. There's just little minor tweaks and things. I'd like to give Anthony Handy a special shout out for that. And a couple things. The men's that'll be recorded tonight, along with the Maryland recap. Will Kramer, who is a co-host of Washington Football Weekly, alongside with Sean Spencer, shout out to them, is a Maryland Terrapin fan. And he wants to come on and he wants to give his thoughts on the season and what he's looking forward for next year. As far as the other episodes, like I said, the WNBA mock draft 2.0 is on hold until further notice. But be tuned in for other content as we are so graciously getting ready for the NFL draft, the WNBA draft, and the NBA draft. We all look for those episodes. But that is enough talk. In this episode, I cannot do it alone. I had to bring back a very, very special guest. I really shouldn't even consider him a guest at this point. I really honestly can consider him a co-host of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brenden Potts.
Woo!
What's going on, Brenden? How you doing, buddy?
It's the Final Four. I'm super excited. I'm ready to go. Let's chop it up.
Yes. Again, Brenden Potts is a writer for the Seattle Storm. Great work. I again will leave his Twitter and the link to his WNBA Leads page where he writes for the Seattle Storm. Great stuff. Knows his basketball. Huge Seattle Storm fan. I know he will definitely be at the game where Sue will have her jersey retirement. Am I correct, sir?
Yeah, I'm going to that game.
I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. We're at the Final Four, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm Brendan. I'm gonna ask you: did you not see this coming with these four teams making the Final Four? One of them, I'm not surprised.
Two of them, I could say I'm not surprised. Two of them, I could say I am surprised. Heading into the tournament, previewing the tournament, I really wasn't surprised about one of them, or two of them, I guess. But one of them was a completely. I'm shocked that they made it this far, and we'll get into all of that. So,
yeah, I second those thoughts. Three out of the four, I'm not surprised. The number one, I expected one of the number one seed team that we're going to talk about first. I was actually expecting them to be knocked out early, but I'm not surprised, honestly. But
can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
Only one quote unquote blue blood in this thing, and that just shows the competitiveness of women's basketball this year. And the quote unquote blue blood, if anybody doesn't know already, is South Carolina.
Absolutely.
And everybody else is just there's no UConn, there's no Tennessee, there's no
Mm-hmm.
it's all different teams.
Different teams.
Mm-hmm. There's no Stanford, so
yep.
it's all mixed up, and women's basketball in college is much more competitive now, and it's that much more fun to watch.
For sure, I agree with that. Let's get into the Virginia Tech, Elizabeth Kitley versus the Bayou Barbie, Andrew Reese, and the Louisiana State University Tigers. Kim Mulkey was so graciously bold enough to guarantee almost that it was going to be them versus South Carolina in the championship. Brendan, I'm going to give you the floor. What are your keys to victory for this game?
Yeah, I think the biggest question for LSU, besides what Kim Mulkey will be wearing tomorrow in Dallas, is can they make their free throws? Number one, and can they not turn the ball over? And that I'm so excited for that post matchup between Angel Reese and Elizabeth Kitley. I am putting my money on Angel Reese not losing a shoe this time. And I hope man, LSU they have a bunch of drama queens, but they have the experienced coach who can do this, and who can lead this team to the championship. These two teams these two coaches faced off against each other. I believe 2 years ago when Kim Mulkey coached at Baylor, and Virginia Tech lost horribly, and that was her last season in Baylor before she went to LSU. But I think I think Virginia Tech has grown immensely. I think they are set up to really challenge LSU. And to speak on what I said in the past segment, I am very surprised that LSU made it this far, and I think you're kind of surprised that Virginia Tech made it this far. So it's coinciding uh, between those differences.
Um, a couple things. I feel bad for Ashley Owusu. Um, I don't know what is going on with Kenny Brooks, why she's not playing. Um, I'm not going to go. I'm going to disagree with you on calling on saying drama queens. Hey, look, they back it up with their game. Um, we know that LSU had the weakest schedule by far this season. That's no. Let's just get that out the way. That's still a good team, regardless. Um, for me, the last time they were in the Final Four was 2004, and they made it 5 straight times. Um, there is a championship. I think they have a little bit more pedigree than Virginia Tech. Um, this was an LSU team that got past the second round. I just think Kenny Brooks. That I'm just. This is. They're kind of just riding the momentum. Um, Virginia Tech. I mean, they're riding a 15-game win streak, no doubt about that. Um, I think, other than Elizabeth Kitley, Georgia Amore, I think, who had a tremendous ACC tournament, they've been doing pretty well. I think for me, the keys are you really, really watch the matchup between Angel Reese and Elizabeth Kitley. Um, for me, Virginia Tech, they have a balanced offensive game. They're not box office. When it comes to offense, I think they're like in the top 60. If you look at all the women's teams ranked, and they're like in the top 30 in ranked defense. They do like to shoot a lot of threes, Virginia Tech. So I'm curious to see defensively what Kim Mulkey will do. Um, they do also have a turnover problem, just like LSU. I think they're 17th in allowing 3-pointers. So for me, other than Kitley, I think the key is Georgia Amore. Uh, we all know LSU is going to bring their firepower. Um, I think this is a good matchup for them. I think on paper they're a better team, but I think LSU is going to beat them. I think you've got to, I think, zone Kitley. And I think you have to take away Georgia from the 3 line. Um, Also, too, I really I just think LSU. I just think they're peaking at the right time. I think the criticism, the critics that they hear, I think that just feels Reese, former, you told me he transferred. I still haven't recovered from that. If you'd have told me this is the year she would have, you smacked this out of my head. She is just, that's a star. Um, that's a franchise changer, in my opinion. And just that she's just her changed her game so much. Now, last game was not Angel Reese like numbers, but um, they did just enough to win the game. Oh, and also too, I would like to put this out there. Um, I talked to Angel Reese's mom on Twitter from time to time. Very, very lovely woman. Um, that's not the Angel Reese daughter. She's been getting a lot of guys in her DMs. So that's her mom, not Angel herself. Miss Webb, if you're watching, I love you, but um, they definitely confused her with Angel with dating requests, and her mom had to put that. You hear about
Yeah, I agree with Angel Reese being a franchise changer. It's just a shame that she's going to be a part of what I call the class, the 2024 draft class that we have, like Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers,
That's
Cameron
right.
Brink, all those stacked. So it's going to be, I mean, like, and we talk about all of these other players either staying a year or going into this year's draft, and it's just like if you're staying another year in college, you're shooting yourselves in the foot. But that's another chat for another day. But
that's true.
no, this is going to be a good game to where I think LSU is primed to show. This could be with their weak schedule or due to their weak schedule. They're primed to show that they do everything right. Like they score the ball, they average 87 points a game, and they which is second in the nation behind Iowa, another team that we're going to talk about.
Yep.
And then they are ninth in the nation in points allowed, which is around 53, almost 54 points a game. So they're primed to do everything right. Is that due to their weak schedule? Is that due to their talent? We don't know at this point.
Right.
Because, like you said, their strength schedule has been a cakewalk. We've said it the entire tournament. And I agree with you. It's now time to put those arguments to rest.
Yep.
Because they've proven it. They've proven that they can beat the best, and you gotta beat the best to be the best. I am
Ric Flair quote. I see you.
I am picking yeah, I'm picking LSU in this game. It's gonna be 76-73.
Let me get the guarantee out for you.
Guarantee.
LSU defeats Virginia Tech 87-74.
Guarantee.
That's okay. I never would have expected you to be high on Virginia Tech.
No, I just think the biggest thing is if you take Georgia off the three, and I think LSU's got some depth. And there's other than Elizabeth and Georgia, there's really nobody else I can say can change the game. I mean, LSU is a battle-tested team for me, and I just think that you're going to have to pick your poison. You have to take something away from Virginia Tech. You're either going to let them post you up or just let them shoot threes. You can't let them you can't do both. But I think that should be a good game for sure.
I do have a question before we move on to the next game, and
Go ahead.
I guarantee you're gonna get it. It's a question for you, and I know you're gonna get it wrong. Just take a wild guess. What do you think Kim Mulkey comes out with in her wardrobe for this game tomorrow? Just take a wild guess.
It's going to be something with feathers.
Oh man, there have been so many pictures with her outfits and all of her styles that have just made me laugh so bad.
It's going to be something with feathers. I guarantee it. Because the one outfit she had on the other day, the previous game.
What? And you got to be kidding me.
The whole staff, honestly, They rock the style. Me personally, I can't do it. But let's painfully well, before we get into that, we're going to get into the sponsor of Big Nate Sports Talk podcast, and that is Zagnif Apparel. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to dress like you're famous? Then why don't you go on down and check Zagnif Apparel out? Great merchandise, um, and you can enjoy a nice 15% using my code Big Nate. Check out Zagnif Apparel, where you can dress like you're already famous.
The following is a presentation of Zagnif Productions, LLC. Introducing Zagnif Apparel. Our comfortable line of leisure wear and athletic wear will have you comfortable and stylish at any occasion. Whether you're at the gym, out shopping, or just relaxing at home. Whether you're an athlete or just want to lay around the house, we've got the perfect outfit for you. Stop by our website today and pick up your favorite pieces. Zagnif Apparel. Dress like you're already famous.
Again, check it out. Shout out to my guy Anthony Handy, the founder of Zagnif Apparel, where you can dress like you're famous. 15% off using my code Big Nate. Thank you so much for being a sponsor of Big Nate Sports Talk. Really do appreciate it, sir. Before we painfully have to preview the next game, we're going to take another quick break with this song.
Your next stop is your success. And clear negative eyes, please.
And we're back. We're previewing number one ranked South Carolina versus Iowa. But before we get into that, the media, the way they have been on this game, like it's no tomorrow.
And they have normalized this bullshit.
The reigning national champions go up against the now player of the year, Caitlin Clark, and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Listen, two great programs. We know it. Leah Boston versus Caitlin Clark. We know this. The last time South Carolina played in Dallas was 2017, and that's when they won their first national championship. I think that would be the fourth program if they won consecutive national titles, and I believe they would be the fifth to finish with an undefeated season. Iowa has not made the Final Four since 1993, if I remember seeing that stat correctly. Brenden, I'm going to give you the floor on what are your keys to success for this game.
Yeah, I think Iowa is going to have to feast on Caitlin Clark, but they're going to have to try and attack Aaliyah Boston and on defense and try and get her into foul trouble as much as they can. Now she is the defensive player of the year as much as you talked. I feel like really quick. I feel like the national player of the year is basically a cop out to saying offensive player of the year to Aaliyah Boston's defensive player of the year. Now I wouldn't have said that if Aaliyah Boston won the national player of the year, but that's just something really quick. On the South Carolina side, I mean, contain Caitlin Clark, but that's way easier said than done. I was on here talking about the Sweet 16 and how I was rooting for Colorado and all that stuff, and I predicted the upset and I got it wrong. Caitlin Clark's on the revenge tour. I mentioned last episode I was on that I think she took that loss to Creighton personally, and she came into the next year, worked her ass off, and I think this is the revenge tour, and it's coming to Dallas, and this, I said in the last matchup preview that you gotta beat the best to be the best, and for Caitlin Clark, this is it. This is the test. I feel like this is the championship in a semifinals game type of a game. Like this could be. I wish this was the championship rather than the Final Four matchup. So I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to. You said it's been hyped up so much heading into this matchup. I think it's going to live up to the hype because I think, like I've personally doubted Iowa every round because I just didn't trust them. Like we've doubted LSU. They're for real. They are for real, and even if sometimes they show they don't play through anyone outside of Caitlin Clark, Caitlin Clark's that good. She's got 900 points. She's about to get 1,000 her next game, and I think I saw 200, maybe 300 assists in a season. She's not doing that just passing to herself. She's got teammates and not just Monica Sonano that she's giving the ball to, and they're making shots. So it's key for them to make their shots and for everybody outside of Caitlin Clark to play to their best to beat South Carolina, because when you play a team like South Carolina, they you have to play at your best, and maybe even that might not be enough. So this is going to be an exciting game. I just think with all the hype that it's been going on with this game, I think it would have been more hyped up if Paige Beckers were healthy and UConn was in this game instead of Iowa. I just say that's my personal opinion. But it's going to be a great game nonetheless.
Oh my God.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Please tell me you did not bring up Paige Beckers.
Well, I'm just saying, like you're hype or you're saying like, oh, this game's so hyped up so much, and this is the most talked about game. I think it would have been talked about more. I think there are more headlines with if the Yukon Huskies were in this game and Paige Beckers was playing in this game, because you got Gino against Dawn, you got Paige against South Carolina. You basically have the same thing, but you got a Hall of Fame head coach in Gino. Not to discredit Lisa Bluter with Iowa, but and it's more of a blue blood matchup with Yukon and South Carolina.
I don't disagree with that, because that company Espen is in their backyard, so I can already see that. But UConn will get back there next year for sure. Shout out to them. What a hell of a year. Really quick, Gino with the injuries, he persevered. AZ Fudd, I still think, to me, get her back healthy. She will definitely be something special next year. I think she's gonna make an All-American team, and I still think I have her as a top 5 pick when she's ready for the draft. But my keys to victory, for me, is how do you contain Caitlin Clark? Yes, she averages 27 points a game, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. She had a 40-piece triple-double against Haley Van Lith and the Louisville Cardinals. I was going to say Arizona Cardinals, Louisville Cardinals, excuse me. Painfully, Caitlin Clark can really hurt you in anywhere of her game, whether that is beyond the 3, whether that's passing. It's going to be really interesting. She can shoot almost 40% from 3. South Carolina has been very good in taking away the 3. Painfully, University of Maryland the other night, which we lost.
Bullshit.
They hold their opponents to about 36% on 3s. I think that it's a mismatch on defense for Iowa. They are, to me, South Carolina, and they showed against, I'll give an example, it's Maryland. Other than us, they are the 7th team to hold their three tournament, the first 3 tournament opponents under 50 points, and did not give up no more than 75. Other than they gave up to against Iowa on the 5th. The UConn, excuse me. To me, that's Iowa. They beat you by scoring. They're number one offense. And I just don't think it's going to come down to their defense. I just don't think you can beat a team like South Carolina just shooting the ball. It's going to come down to creating mismatches. South Carolina is a top 10 scoring offense. They average about 81 points a game. Iowa, I looked at where they're like 306 out of 350 Division I women's teams, and the worst defense. And they're like 187, 188, and turning the ball over.
I mean, this is some bad stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how much more of this I can take. I just don't know. This is ridiculous. Oh, Lord.
And it's going to be really interesting. I'm going to be definitely watching Zaya Cook because she's going to have the defensive assignment on Caitlin Clark. And again, I look at South Carolina, that team, say what you want offensively, that is a great basketball team down there. Leah Boston had a double-double painfully against us, and we were one of the teams to hold Caitlin Clark under 20 points this season. I mean, the only team I can say really gave South Carolina like a scare was Georgia, but they won by 10. Georgia came within 2 points of beating Iowa in the tournament, but they lost. I just think for me, it's coming full circle in South Carolina. To be 42-0, and I think this would be a stamp on arguably one of the greatest women's basketball teams. And whether particularly the UConn fans, because views, Brendan, I don't know if you see them on Twitter, they can get real sensitive.
Oh yeah, they're Storm fans too, so of course I see them.
So it's coming full circle for them. If they win, you've got to put them in the conversation, alongside UConn, Tennessee, Texas, and Baylor. Iowa's a great team, not taking anything away from them. I'm a fan of Caitlin Clark, but I'm just very disappointed with how the media, particularly that network ESPN, have just been pushing these narratives, and I'm a little disappointed that Aaliyah Boston has been treated as an afterthought, and she was just National Player of the Year, and I'm very disappointed by that. And for me, I think this really comes down to just science and the critics. They have all the pieces to me that are a complete team. Like I said, Leah Boston is the heart and soul. She's a two-way player. She makes everyone around her better. They're a better team on the boards, everything. They have the depth. And it's going to be a lot of energy, like you stated with Iowa. I think they're going to get tired easily. For me, I just don't think they can keep up with them. Because I use Maryland as an example, second chance points. They have the strength, they have the size. Can't keep up with them. And painfully, the South Carolina Gamecocks will advance to the national championship 95-75.
Guaranteed.
I think it's going to be a closer game than that, but you nailed all of the points, but I think Caitlin Clark on Iowa side is the heart and soul of this team, and
For sure.
We've said it the entire time we've been covering this tournament. Iowa runs as she does.
That's how I feel about Monica Tsunano.
Yeah. I think Aaliyah Boston's just gonna. I think Monica has met her match in Aaliyah Boston.
She better get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, right. I just think she's met her match, and man, Caitlin Clark, I just love. There's a positive and a negative to this when going back to what you said, and what's so fascinating about Caitlin Clark and her game is she's a 6-foot point guard, and you see 6-foot guards. We have a 6-foot guard on WSU, but she runs as a post, and she's amazing defensively, but on offense she runs as a post. She plays a lot of off the ball, but she's not a ball handler. Caitlin Clark is a 6-foot point guard. She handles the ball like a point guard, but she's 6 freaking foot, and she has the when you are a point guard, you have the ability to stretch the floor with your range, like Stephen Curry. The problem is it's so unique with Caitlin Clark because of her size, and that's just so fascinating about Caitlin Clark. So that's the good of her game. That's the thing that I like. The dislike is what you said earlier, talking about the media and how they've hyped up Caitlin Clark and this particular performance with the 40-point triple double. Some may say that she stat hunted that 10th rebound. I'm not one of those people. Wink. But this is where I get pissed off. She is not even close to the best women's college basketball player of all time until she gets a ring. And that goes for anybody. But here's where I get pissed off. She's not even close to the best women's college basketball player of all time until she gets 4. And why I say 4, because only one player has done it, and only one player will ever do it. Breanna Stewart. I don't want to hear any talk about who the best college women's basketball player of all time is. You can give me 1,000,000 points, 2,000 assists in a season. Give me 4 rings in 4 years. Until then, it's Breanna Stewart. It always will be Breanna Stewart. On that note, for my pick, do I dare? Do I dare do this? I'm bought in. Give me the upset. I'm taking the Iowa Hawkeyes 86 to the South Carolina Gamecocks 82.
Guaranteed.
What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing?
I want to ask you a question. I have a serious question. If you're Coach Bluter, would you have Caitlin play off ball and have Gabby Marshall play point?
I try and disguise it as much, but I think Dawn Staley's too smart for that.
Okay.
I think love Gabby Marshall, but I think Caitlin Clark has to be the maestro here. She has to be the maestro here. She has to be the hero down the stretch. If she starts out bad, big whoop. She does it, or she always I think starts the game out slow. And then she she hits one of her half courts, and then she gets going.
I have no comment.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
In the Final Four, covering both games, in the Final Four, over or under 2 Caitlin Clark half court shots from the logo.
I say she'll make 1.
She'll make 1, okay, because you haven't played 1 game. I think they'll play. I think she'll make 2, whether they're in 1 game or 2. I'd love to see them in 1 game.
I think she'll make a half court, but I think they're going to tire her out easily because they just. I used the Maryland game as a prime example because they just played Monday. We got tired easily. Like Lisa's going to have to her depth's going to be tested, and don't get into foul trouble either.
Yeah, I think you made a really good point with South Carolina's depth. I think they're just. I know I picked Iowa, but I just think South Carolina's so deep, and I know they are more deep than Iowa. So you brought up a really good point there.
For sure. When he brought up Breanna Stewart,
I'm not going to even sit here and act like I didn't know this was coming, or act like I know this was coming because I did it.
We're going to get into the last subject of the evening, and that is final message. Oh,
incoming message.
Thoughts are running through my mind. Someone took some time to find a minute or two to organize them.
Brenden, what is your final message of this episode?
Yeah, so little bit of a backstory. I got into women's sports in 2020 for the WNBA bubble, and I just wanted to give it a try. And as I learned more about women's sports and women's basketball in general, I learned about the discrepancy between popularity between men's and women's sports. And I was as mad as the next person um, that loved women's sports. I was wondering why women's basketball isn't treated as greatly as men's basketball. And it just warms a person of or just warms this kind of person's heart, specifically mine, to see that tickets for the Final Four for the women's are double yesterday. I think they're $100 more today um, than the men's, and it just makes me feel so good to see that. Um, and I did have to throw this out there. This year's Final Four is bigger because everything's bigger in Texas with the Final Four women's being in Dallas and the men's Final Four being in Houston. So ain't no way I'm not doing this episode without saying that message. But no, I'm so happy that the awareness for women's basketball is finally here and it's finally getting better. And there's an actual statistical result of it being better, whether it's TV views, ticket sales. I don't care how it gets better. As long as it gets better, it just makes me feel so happy.
I like that. Wow. My final message. I really have been enjoying talking women's sports, particularly women's basketball. I started doing this 2021, just about when I started really making videos on YouTube here on YouTube. Um, I'm really surprised to see where it's gone. Um, I'm still learning the game, and I'm still learning the different things with the media, the optics, and how they push certain players and narratives. Um, but the talent is just so amazing for the college game. But I'm disappointed that there's so much. There's only limited spots when you get to the WNBA, and we're at a crossroads now because I honestly and truthfully I can't blame these young women for wanting to stay another year where you're getting an education for free, you're working on another degree, and with um, WNBA players making it known publicly about how much they really don't like their job, well, their conditions, I should say, of their job. Um, can you really blame them for wanting to stay in school? Um, so this has been fun talking women's basketball. I've gotten criticism for it, and I'm still going to talk women's basketball. I'm still going to talk football. I'm still going to talk NBA basketball, Major League Baseball. I'm still going to talk that. But I think I believe I found my niche. You know, getting to write for MarylandSportsBlog.com this year, and covering the Maryland women's basketball team. This upcoming summer, we're going to be writing for the Washington Mystics. Like, I believe I found my niche, and I mean, I'm going to continue to find my niche, and I'm going to find my way to get into the NFL and NBA rooms. But it's just, ladies and gentlemen, it's just really truly appreciate some of this greatness that you're seeing, because this has been a fun season to watch, and yes, everything is bigger in Texas. And shout out to some of those. Shout out to the committee who's there for the women's game. Shout out to a couple WNBA ball players. CC Andrews, I know is down there. That South Carolina Iowa game is we matched. Is definitely going to be packed to the brim with Gamecock fans. So Lisa Luter, like she took a shot at Turpin fans. You said you used to playing at loud stadiums. You haven't heard some of the South Carolina fans, so that's my final message. ladies and gentlemen, that's actually going to conclude this episode of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Brenden will be back on with me as we recap the Final Four and preview the national championship game. The games start tomorrow. Best of luck to both four teams. Get a good night rest, everybody. Again, congratulations to Caitlin Clark for National Player of the Year. Well deserved. Aaliyah Boston Defensive Player of the Year. No doubt about that. I'm sad for Ashley Owusu. I want to take a long stab at this real quick. Ashley Owusu will be drafted a late first round draft pick in this year's WNBA.
Guaranteed.
So, Dawn Staley, congratulations on another successful year as Coach of the Year. Much love to her, one of my favorite coaches. If I was starting a women's basketball program, she's the first one I'm calling. And then second one is Coach Yo. But there's some other coaches I will call as well.
Over Gino?
Yes, over Gino. Gina, that's going to be a different conversation for another day, ladies and gentlemen. But congratulations to these four teams. Great basketball. Can't wait to see it. I will leave Brendan's Twitter and his WNB lead page in the description below. This episode will go live in the morning. I will go live about 9 o'clock just before the game starts, because the game starts in the evening. So until then, get a good night's rest. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Y'all have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. Peace. Stay up.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bring your sports game on Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you, yeah. I want to thank you. Ooh. For all the times you put up with me. Thank you. And you helped me retain my sanity. Thank you. I want to thank you. And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you for everything you do.